Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to Freeze Frame. Everybody loves listening to this podcast. At least that's what we're getting our feedback from, the people who are listening, if we're getting our feedback correctly. Personally, guys, I've enjoyed this podcast experience so much. I used to host another podcast, and personally, it's so different with this one because this one is just so focused on one specific market, and that is movies and TV, and I absolutely dig that. Like, I think I dig that more than I like the other thing, because it's like, I feel like I can sink my teeth into a specific topic every week that I know about, that I've kind of gotten to know more. It's fun because you also get to know more people through those conversations you have about things you already know because you talked about it on the show, and it's just it's become a lot of fun, it's continued to be a lot of fun. And I'm obviously joined by Ryder Maldonado, my awesome host. I'm so glad to be here with you. A lot of really cool stuff happened this week. I think you have something big you want to tell us first. I'm going to bounce off of you to start off with. What do you got?
All right, well, getting started, guys. We had some Spider-Man news. Alfred Molina, the actor that plays Doc Ock in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man film, seemingly confirms, he literally confirms this is from his mouth, that he is playing Doc Ock in the Spider-Man Far From Home, the third film in the MCU for Tom Holland. He confirms that he's going to be in it. And he talks about how John Watts talked about it, the film being very secretive, and that he was like, yeah, everything was very secret on set, but this is his quote. He was like, yeah, I'm ready to just talk about it, because I'm ready to get into it. And he said, John Watts told him, in this universe, no one really dies. So apparently it's going to pick up literally after the scene when he sacrificed himself in the river. For those of you that don't know, in Tobey Maguire,
right,
he sacrificed himself to destroy the main, caveat, the bad, the machine. And so people kind of upset that, that sacrifice might be, destroyed, but it's going to take place right after he drowns in the river and connects straight to the Tom Holland film. So that's absolutely huge.
Well, a couple of hours ago when we found out about this story, we actually took the time to watch the finale of Spider-Man 2. And we actually had some brilliant writing there. Doc Ock actually tells Peter Parker, when Peter reveals his identity for the first time to him at the very end of this movie, which I like in contrast to the other one.
Yep.
It's like it was a lot more last minute, whoa. And he's like, Peter Parker, brilliant but lazy. And you're just like, I love that. And then he goes as far as to be like, I can't destroy it. I won't. Doc Ock is proud of his work so much as he doesn't want to destroy it. And then when he realizes he has to, he ends up sacrificing himself and going, I'll do it. I will not die a monster is the last line he says. So I'm curious to know if he's going to come back as a good guy. If he's gonna come back in a redeemed way where he's just like, I learned.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it'll be maybe if there was a little bit of that, and then there was a reason that he turns back to being bad, maybe because they established that he takes over for the hands, he controls the arms now, they don't control him. So it's starting from there, it's I'm interested to see which way they go.
Absolutely.
But really cool. I think Alfred Molina there was all these memes this week where it was Kevin Feige when he finds Alfred Molina, and it's all these guns and all this traps and stuff. Because it was why are you spilling all these secrets? Yeah. And he even said that they're gonna be using de-aging on him in the movie, which is interesting. And I don't. He's saying all the tentacles will do all the work, so it's mainly just gonna be him standing there. So we'll see what happens with that. But speaking of Spider-Man, Jon Favreau is actually gonna be in the movie again, which is great. Coming back as Happy Hogan. Everybody loves a good Jon Favreau. But moving on from Marvel to a little bit more Warner Brothers. I got a lot of Warner Brother news, significant amounts. I don't know why they have so much news that dropped this week, but I'm going to bounce it back to you because I'm going to let you give us a little bit of your scoops.
Okay, well, I'll switch it up then. So this is going to be Indiana Jones 5. We got another confirmation for another casting. We just had Phoebe Waller-Bridge being confirmed to be in the film from last week. This week, Mads Mikkelsen is joining Indiana Jones 5, probably as a villain role. We don't know what he's going to play yet, but he joins Harrison, of course, and Phoebe in the next installment of the franchise. And it's pretty cool, for this actor because they show kind of a roster that he's in Star Wars, Marvel, Indiana Jones, Bond, and even I think Hobbit or Lord of the Rings or one of those. But there was an extra fifth one. But that he's in all the five major franchises.
he's an A tier, bro. He's S tier if anything.
Yeah,
like it's
crazy.
It's like they've been saying recently, like they knew the mission, or they knew the assignment, and then it's like this actor that has all these different like portrayals, and I'm just like, they always knew the assignment, and I'm just like, that's cool, because Mads Mikkelsen is one of those actors. Yeah. Personally, I think that he's a great addition to that movie. I think it's only growing to become more and more interesting in my eyes.
Absolutely.
Which is exciting. But I only wanted to give you a chance to speak because there's a lot of Warner Brothers, there's a ton of news here, and I'm going to break it down here in a second. So let's start off, first of all, with the fact that Warner Brothers is finding out that they're going to have a hard time getting Christian Bale back as Batman, which is obvious, right? Because he was like, hey, guys, I did that thing. 3 movies. I'm over it. Yeah. I'm moving on, right? So it says here, in any case, tipster Mikey Sutton is reporting that while Bale is on the studio's radar, it's not going to be as simple as throwing a pile of money at his door, and they face a significant challenge in convincing him to return. After all, the Academy Award winner is well known for being very particular about the roles he plays. While he's never been in it for fame and fortune, and having tied off his tenure as Batman at the end of The Dark Knight Rises, it'll certainly take a lot more than a blank check to convince him to reverse that decision for The Flash. So now they're saying, even after The Flash, even, that the former Dark Knight is also being eyed for Batman Beyond, should the Keaton deal fall through. While the project hasn't been officially announced, most people are expecting it to happen, given Keaton's veteran status, setting him up perfectly as the wise mentor to the youthful exuberance of Terry McGinnis. But will it happen? You know, that's the question we all got to ask ourselves, right? Because personally, like, I would much rather have Michael Keaton come back than Christian Bale. I would love Christian Bale to make a cameo in Flashpoint, but I'm not begging for that. That's not something I'm absolutely looking for. However, if it doesn't happen and they can only acquire Christian Bale, like, I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to be upset about it, but definitely interesting there. But I want to move on here. Dwayne Johnson is reportedly ignoring Warner Brothers' plans to end the Snyderverse. I commend Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for this. Personally, I think he deserves to be president. Just kidding. Don't take that to heart. Matching up with what we've heard before, the studio allegedly intends to reboot the DCEU with the Flash movie, they say. For them, this is where the Snyderverse will well and truly end, they say. Wow. They are over it. They're done. However, Johnson apparently plans to ignore this, and as he wants the original DCEU to continue in his own Black Adam franchise. The Rock is ignoring all of Warner Brothers' plans to end the Snyderverse, says Sutton. And apparently there's a private tug of war going on between the actor and Warner Brothers right now. But as you would figure, Johnson is said to be the favorite to win this battle because he is The Rock. Sutton's source shared that the star is not going to bow down to the studio, as The Rock is making Black Adam the way he always envisioned, and nobody will stand in his way. I'm just saying, do you smell what The Rock is cooking? Because it is absolutely insane, the fact that he can totally will like a whole studio to be like, you know what, we're restoring the Snyderverse, and it's like, damn, son, like, that's crazy because
he's always wanted it.
He's always wanted it, but Warner Brothers actually views the Snyderverse as a failure. That's the part that's the most interesting about this, because they view it like their movies didn't make as much profit as people like would have hoped. So it's like the movies are just seen as like total failures that shouldn't continue, but people are just diehard fans because they love the Snyder cut. Like, it's like, oh, but it just shows to show if they would have just let those artists have their original creative vision and then just gone through with it, then it could have been totally different. Like, even Batman versus Superman had to have a director's cut. Yeah, so it's like if they didn't have to do all that, they could have just gone into it with the intention of, hey, let's create this world, and then not worry about the, who knows what's gonna happen next, or all that. Like let's just let the creatives be creative, and then let somebody like The Rock, who is like a diehard fan but has the money and the position to like grow that franchise, really do it well. And he said he's gonna make Black Adam the way he wants, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's the cool thing too, because I know that I've heard about the Black Adam for many, many years. Like, I know that The Rock had always teased it, and it's always something that he's been eyeing toward when it comes to DC characters and DC franchises, because I don't think he ever, I mean, of course, he probably had Marvel in his head, but I know that, when he was younger and probably a lot smaller in his career, that's always something that I knew he wanted to be a part of. And so I feel like he made the smart move to kind of grow his career and do separate projects, to now be big with Disney and do all the shows and HBO and all that. And now he is at a point where he can, run this whole a new franchise practically, and I condemn him for it. Not condemn him. I applaud him for it, if anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like, wow. now it's a right move for your career, and I think it's going to be huge for DC, the future.
Absolutely. I mean, let me read you some of these numbers. It says from start to finish, the budget of Justice League was at least $370 million, and it didn't make Warner Brothers a single cent, and that's without even factoring marketing or promotional costs. The Batman vs. Superman turned a profit of just over $105 million, while Man of Steel only ended up in the black to the tune of $42 million once all expenses were accounted for. So that's a little bit. So looking at the Snyderverse trilogy alone, that's at least $880 million in production costs, with less than $150 million in net profit to show for it. So that's like horrible.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's pretty bad. Which doesn't make for particularly encouraging reading, especially when you consider that Shazam on its own made a net profit of $74 million on a $100 million budget. So
that's just not good.
That's
for any of these.
That is pretty crazy, because it's like, yo, Shazam almost made half, and you guys gave him like 1/8 of what you guys had. That's insane. But Warner Brothers has a lot of stuff in the works. I feel like their DC properties definitely, like, that you need somebody to come in there and just like clean it up. Yeah. And hopefully that's The Rock. Yeah,
they need to replace Jeff Johns, because I think the corporate got too involved when it comes to the Feige relationship in Disney. I feel like they had complete trust in Feige to restart and reboot everything. When Jeff Johns, I feel like you could see, with some of the ideas that they're doing with DC, he's like, oh, let's try this and go this way, give Snyder some. But the corporos are like, no, Jeff Johns, let's try and make it more funny. Probably because I think when Shazam came out, they wanted to have more comedic tone, or they wanted to change Justice League and stuff like that. So I think they need to give more freedom to like Jeff Johns if he's trying to run the story right, which, DC we know is all complicated and it's all over the place because they're all separate films now, and it's not as concrete as Marvel has been. And I don't expect DC to be, the same type of stories like Marvel, but I feel like if they gave Jeff Johns more power, it would have been a better concrete storyline for all the films.
Absolutely. Well, maybe if they did, I think they might try to fix some stuff with like Our Man, and they were just like, hey, we'll bend time. Like that's the thing about these properties. It's like all you need to do is create a character who can manipulate time, and then you can just do whatever the fuck you want.
Flashpoint.
Seriously. Like, hey, this is in, this is out. They do it in the comics all the time, where literally they just get rid of characters. They're like, these weren't popular enough. Nobody was interested in these characters. They're dead now. They're just dead. No storylines ever created. Yeah. So, don't be afraid. Even look at this. They're trying to bring Will Smith back as Deadshot. So there you go. Alfred Molina said, in this universe, nobody is truly dead. That's what they told him. That goes for any property. That goes for any property.
Nowadays, yep.
Bring back Danny Phantom. Fuck it.
He's dead? No, it was just in general, bring him back.
No, but the show ended.
Oh, okay. I don't keep up with Danny Phantom.
The show ended like 12 years ago.
I know, but I thought it was like, oh, did he die? Sure, just continuing on.
It was a cartoon. It wasn't a person.
I know, man. Oh, you don't get what I mean. It's okay.
No, I don't. But go ahead. What you got next?
Okay, so we have right here. Well, this is a sad one. I wanted to bring this up because even though I wasn't well informed on it, Helen Mccorry, best known for her roles in Peaky Blinders and the Harry Potter series, has died at 52, confirmed by her husband Damian Lewis. Of course, I saw photos and I was like, okay, I recognize her, but I'm pretty unfortunate. 52 is still a young age, so we want to, say rest in peace to her and her career. I'm sure she had a lot of fans across the world. I saw a lot of social media posts.
Yeah, no, for sure. Ben Affleck doesn't want to be in any more Warner Brothers properties. I forgot this one.
No,
I still had one more, bro,
so
and
Ben
I totally
Affleck.
pivoted off. I pivoted too early.
Yeah, we'll continue back to the into Warner Brothers.
Really fast. He just wants to be a director now. He just doesn't want to be the Batman, and I get it, man. But anyways, keep going back to you.
Sad. I don't know. I like Ben Affleck. I feel bad for the guy. Okay, Dune. We'll go into Dune now. Dune co-writer Eric Roth has already written a treatment for the potential sequel adapting the second half of the book, and he says hopefully people love Dune so much that they do want to have a second part. And I feel like based on, if they're going to release it on HBO Max, I don't think they're going to get the numbers that they hope, you know what I mean, showing on in the box office. So I feel like that second film might not happen, but who knows? That's all I got for Dune. Okay.
all we can hope for is that Timothée Chalamet kills it.
Yeah. That's what I hope for too.
Which, I mean, let's be honest, will he? Come on.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
This one is pretty sad. Our pretty cool, I should say, actually.
Okay.
But it is sad because it's about Chadwick Boseman.
Oh.
Netflix is releasing Chadwick Boseman, Portrait of an Artist. It's a special on April 17th. I think this is going to be hitting a lot of people because it's out right now. You know, I might watch it later tonight just because.
Cool.
I don't know, man. I met Chadwick and I thought about it when I read this article today, and I was just like, I always think back on his personality and the type of person he was, because he was really chill and he was really nice, just sweet, just sweet. But moving past that, I got a cool story for us. Another one. The plot and casting details have emerged for the Ahsoka series on Disney Plus. Yeah. This is the logline if anybody is curious. Ahsoka Tano, Rosario Dawson, is on the hunt for the evil Grand Admiral Thrawn in the hope it will help her locate the missing Ezra Bridger, the young Jedi that disappeared with Thrawn many years ago. Based on characters from the Star Wars franchise, a spin-off of the TV series The Mandalorian. The rest of the grid goes on to describe two characters, Boca and Moray, as well as a cast for extras to play soldiers. Boca is described as a very strong-minded and independent, as well as a natural leader, boyish-looking Middle Eastern African Pacific Islander, Black African American mixed ethnicity. They're looking for the casting, apparently. 20 to 35-year-old, you know. Yo, if you're out there, like if you're listening to this
is
like
the casting call.
And this is you. This is the casting call. So Moray, on the other hand, is described as a very volatile and unreliable male character who is simultaneously complex and shady. There is no specific race or ethnicity listed for the role, but actors between the ages of 40 and 60 are ideal. So jump in there for either of those, because I think anybody could totally be boyish or old.
I love that. Hey, anybody want it? Go grab it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll continue on with some big franchises, right? We got Fast and Furious and Last of Us. These are quick. I'll get to these two. Last of Us has another casting announcement. Gabriel Luna, who was last seen in the Terminator film, the brand new one. He played the Terminator.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't either, but I know him from the trailer.
Let's hope he's better in this.
Yeah,
you know?
Right? Yeah. So he's been casted as Tommy, Joel's brother. So as you can see, the Latino leads, you know, with Pedro and now Gabriel. That's pretty cool. And cool. He pointed out that they're both from Texas, which I got to point out. It's kind of cool. And then we have F9 release a brand new trailer after such a long time. Of course, the film is releasing on May 21st. Gets a release date in China, which is a full 5 weeks earlier than the domestic release here in the U.S. We have new footage of Han, and we have some awesome new footage from the cast of Tokyo Drift. So we have the director, Justin Lin, exclaims, "Never say never" when asked about a Jurassic Park crossover. Which, come on. That's
what?
Just... yeah. Well, listen.
Oh, my God.
I know. It's just like one of those, like, I don't have anything off the table, you know, because like when it comes to space, he was also talking about that he spoke to scientists and he wanted to make sure he got it right, you know, because if he wanted to put that into the franchise, he wanted it to be more than just a gimmick. So he really put a lot of research into the whole, hey, we're going to space, and
it's clearly a gimmick. Jason in space. Come on, everybody's already done it.
Oh yeah.
You go to space and then you cross over, like he's saying. But Jurassic Park, that's pretty interesting. I got to watch the Jurassic Park Fast and the Furious.
Wild, dude. That's wild.
That'd be sick. The Rock riding on like Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh my God.
That'd be sick.
Yeah. With straddling.
Dude, the fact that they went to space, like they knew just the amount of hype to put out there right before the movie came out, because it had been announced all those what, a year ago now, maybe longer. Like the fact that you can still build up hype like that, that's very smart of them to have hidden that from us this whole time. Mm-hmm. But will I watch that movie? I don't know. I'm not really into the Fast and the Furious franchise like that. I don't think I've watched. I didn't think I watched the last three. I didn't even watch the one where Paul Walker passed. I still haven't seen it. You know. I'm just not that deep into the cars racing. I like Tokyo Drift, so that's kind of cool. What are they doing with that? Are they remaking that? Or?
Well, the cast from that, because it was different, you know, like they had completely changed the cast. And so they're bringing those characters for this back. And it's like everyone in the franchise is in this one. It's a big one.
Oh, wow. Okay. So maybe I will watch it. Shit, that sounds kind of exciting. I got some cool news here. I keep saying cool because I don't have any other adjectives for
I know. It's all cool, though.
Honestly, it is just cool news. Like, I'm just like stuff that I didn't think about. Like Robert Downey Jr. trying to get Johnny Depp a role on Sherlock Holmes 3. Like, I didn't wake up today thinking about that. Like, it just popped into my news feed, and I was just like, that's so random, you know? What's he doing? You know, like, I get it. I know, but I know what he's doing. I mean, he's trying to help him.
Yeah.
But, like,
smart.
At the same time, it's just like, I didn't even know y'all were friends, dude. Like, it just goes to show, like, people in Hollywood, you never know who they're connected with, dude.
Absolutely.
You could meet somebody, and they could be like, oh yeah, my best friend is Angelina Jolie, and you're just like, holy shit, like let's be friends, But
Exactly. Yep.
it says here the two have known each other dating back 3 decades, so 30 years. So it would make sense for an olive branch of sorts to be extended, especially when it was similarly troubled Mel Gibson who put Robert Downey Jr.'s career back on track after he paid the insurance bond to hire him for the lead role in 2003's The Singing Detective, when nobody in Hollywood would even consider giving him a job. So he's grateful, it just goes to show Robert Downey Jr. is a different person than who he was when he was younger. And I think that shows, and that, sometimes people play a persona on TV and, on movies, but it's cool to see that he's still kind of like wholesome.
Absolutely.
He's not like an asshole or like just like a douche.
Despite how big he is, yeah.
Despite how big he is, yeah.
Gotcha,
and
yeah.
I think that's kind of cool. So really cool that he's helping him out.
More wholesome news. Michael B. Jordan, he's helming the new Rocky film, Creed. Even though I say Rocky films, but it's Creed 3. He's going to be directing it. He's talking about Sylvester Stallone is not going to be in it. And so, of course, he had to talk about it because that's kind of a big thing. He says he has a ton of love for Sylvester and explains why he's absent in this film. Is that it's a Creed franchise, and we really want to build this story and this world around him moving forward. And he goes on to talk about more, loosely. It's like, yeah, he's gonna be in there. He's like, he's gonna honor the film, but
oh my gosh, dude!
Kind of
when I hear somebody say the word now, when it's like franchise, like Creed franchise, I'm just like, oh my, are we gonna see Creed 7 and like Creed 9? God. Like, who's asking for Creed 9, bro? No. Who is asking for Creed 9?
So many franchises. We gotta start seeing original. Like you talk about it too. Like I know we love hearing about new.
We are seeing some new stuff, but the problem is, it's just like the new stuff isn't as much as the remakes and sequels. Yeah, and like, and I get it. It's like when you hit a home run, you just want the home run to like keep going forever. But the problem is, eventually it hits the ground again. Yeah, it ends, and then it's like, okay, take the royalties. Just be happy with the royalties.
Yeah,
like, what's so bad about being rich off royalties? I don't understand that, but. I want to take a moment here, like we always do, because I don't know if we did it last week. I think we just talked about it at the beginning, but we didn't take a moment. We didn't take a breath to talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Absolutely, absolutely excited about this series finale that's going to be taking place this next week. Have you seen it? That's my question for the fans, for the people who are listening, for the people who are fans of Marvel, and just love Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, because like they both have like more projects coming out too. Like I have some news about Anthony Mackie coming up, but like I'm just so happy that their careers are really taking off, because like there's these like TV shows for Disney Plus are really doing good for these actors, and I'm just like, that's great. I'm glad. It just goes to show that if you can hit one show on Netflix or Disney Plus, or I feel like Disney Plus very heavy right now. Like if you can hit a Disney Plus show right now, you're probably set for a while.
Top 1% of Hollywood, yeah.
Yeah, top 1% of Hollywood for sure. But let's see how they had a casting call recently. I think like a couple of days ago they did like a nationwide casting call, like ABC did. So it's like, wow. You could have easily just put your name out there. You could have just been like, let me give my
fresh new talent.
Give my chance, but. I don't know.
That's what it is, yeah.
You got to get out there, Alejandro. You got to put yourself out there.
Yeah, I got you.
But moving on from that, I got some cool news. See, I keep doing it. I just keep going back to the word cool. I love it.
It's May. No.
It is cool.
Yeah.
But Daredevil is apparently coming to the MCU and is going to have a relationship.
Oh.
We knew he was coming, but he's going to have a relationship here. It says, according to all signs, Charlie Cox is heading back to the MCU as Daredevil. We don't know exactly when, but the Marvel Studios has plans for the Man Without Fear, but it's looking like they'll want to put their own stamp on him and will effectively be rebooting him, the continuity surrounding the character once he returns. And this appears to include giving him a different love interest, completely different story. Yes, as per a recent report, Matt Murdock will spark up a romance with a major new superheroine. Following her casting in Hawkeye, it's been announced that Alaqua Cox, no relation to Charlie Cox, will go on to star in her own Disney Plus series as Echo, a.k.a. Maya Lopez, one of the rare deaf superheroes in the Marvel Universe. Pretty cool. Not only that, but Geekosity is now claiming that Charlie Cox is set to join his namesake in Echo, following his cameo in Spider-Man No Way Home. So they're saying that it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
He's gonna be in Spider-Man. So it's like, dude, I'm just excited for Spider-Man, bro. Like, can we just wind forward time? Like,
Yeah,
just,
I
like,
know, right?
Spider-Man. So Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3. Like,
People always post too. They're like, "Hey, which one do you want to see come?" And all the others get destroyed. I'm like, "Easy, Spider-Man," because they show like Doctor Strange and Eternals. I'm like, "Easy, Spider-Man." It's multiverse,
Yeah.
and like we don't know what happens in this one. That's what I want fast.
and
You
it
know.
also it sets up all the other ones.
Yeah.
So it's not like I can watch all the other ones without that.
Mm-hmm.
But look, it says, and just as in the comics, Daredevil and the titular character will apparently develop a relationship. The outlet notes that the idea is to drop Daredevil into Echo, which is the name of the show, as a way to supply the series with a bit of extra buzz. That's kind of cool because it's not like a Daredevil show, but it's a little different. Given that she's not a particularly famous name on her own, introducing her to audiences in Hawkeye first should help drum up excitement as well, though. As created by David Mack and Joe Quesada, Echo is a Native American Olympic-level athlete who has photographic reflexes, meaning she can perfectly copy someone's movements just by watching them. Wow. That's a badass fucking power. Like,
Yeah.
Like, let me just look at you, and then it's like, boom, I can just copy everything.
Gotcha.
All your maneuvers, all your little mannerisms, all that shit. I can just do it and do it better.
Yeah, it's kind of like Taskmaster in a way. If you're familiar with that character, he can mimic anybody's fighting style, whatever you see. So maybe they have a tie-in with Black Widow somehow. They call back to it and they say it's like Taskmaster. Who knows? Anyway.
Well, I mean, we're already gonna see Julia Louis-Dreyfus in there, so maybe we'll see Echo.
Yeah, true. Who knows? Yeah, good call.
No, but I don't think so. I just read to you how they're gonna do it, but
yeah.
Moving on from that, Ryan Gosling's The Actor is now in the works at Neon. The film will follow an actor who was stranded in 1950s Ohio after an attack and then suffers from severe memory loss. He then struggles to reclaim the life he lost. An actor playing an actor who forgets that he's an actor.
I love that.
The ultimate project.
Yep.
The ultimate project.
Seems easy, but that's cool. And Ryan Gosling.
Seems easy.
No, I'm kidding.
OMG.
I'm kidding.
No, I love it. I think so
it's just
too.
funny.
I think so too. It seems easy.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Well, I'll get back to Marvel here. Moon Knight, starring Oscar Isaac. This is a quick one. So lately, there's been some new videos, training montages showing him, training, getting ready for that show, doing some hand-to-hand combat stuff, some kind of MMA, really aggressive fighting. It's pretty violent almost, and so people know that he's getting ready for Moon Knight and he's getting hyped for that. So, I mean, who knows what we can expect from that? I want to look more into that character and research who he is because I'm not familiar with him, but I want to get more, in tune with who that person is, and I'll let you guys know. But we got a training video of it, so of course, Marvel fans, them. Oh, give me anything I need. I can feed off of. That's how it is.
Yeah.
And then
absolutely.
This was a funny one. When we were talking about corpos and kind of like Disney and stuff like that and franchises, I have a small one here about Predator, the Predator series, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they have all the sequels. The screenwriters are suing Disney to recapture the rights to the franchise, which they say is due to return to them this week. So I thought it was kind of random, but hey, it matches up. They're trying to get their franchise back because Disney owns everything.
Yeah, dude. I didn't even know they owned Predator, but then I think they got it from Fox.
Fox, yeah.
So they're probably like, yo, give us back our franchise. We had a deal with Fox. We don't have a deal with Disney. We want a deal.
Oh, man.
Everybody wants a deal with Disney.
Yeah.
There's a reason everybody wants a deal with the devil. Disney.
Oh.
Yikes. They both start with a D. New rumor says that there's a Star Wars reboot featuring Rey's son in development. Now that's exciting.
What?
You know what I'm thinking happened there?
Yeah.
Kylo Ren stuck his lightsaber where it wasn't supposed to go.
Nice, dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
Next up, a new Monsters Inc. spinoff is about to hit Disney Plus. Now, isn't that exciting? I want to read you guys a little synopsis here. This is a little long, so bear with me. In the wake of Monsters Inc. and the discovery of Laugh Power, this show seems to be heading down a path of addressing a major pivot in the monster world. The original film spent much of its time depicting the fallacy of monster society and the shortcomings of assumption, ending on a major development to the monster's way of life, the discovery of Laugh Power. We can expect the direct consequences of this change at play in Monsters at Work. From old-time scarers sticking hard fast to tradition and skeptical Monsters Incorporated employees, there's no shortage of conflict for the series to choose from. The new protagonist at play, Tyler Tuskman, Tyler Tuskman, Ben Feldman, is a talented scarer fresh from Monsters University, finding himself caught in the middle of this major shift. So he's kind of like just fresh out of college. They just found out the power of the laughs, and that's pretty cool. It says it can be presumed to be a story about adaptation and learning new skills. We will most likely see Tyler eventually find his place alongside the likes of Mike Wazowski as a successful worker on the laugh floor until he finds his comedic prowess. However, he is going to end up in a desk job on what is called the Monsters, Inc. facilities team, MIFT. The producer described it as a workplace sitcom focusing on trivial, everyday comedy as we explore parts of Monsters, Inc., both new and familiar. Starring alongside Feldman as part of the MIFT crew are Henry Winkler as Fritz. Oh, great casting.
Wow.
The scatterbrain boss, Lucas Neff as Duncan, an opportunistic plumber, and Alana Ubach as Cutter, the officious rule follower. In addition to Crystal and Goodman, everybody loves Billy Crystal and John Goodman. Returning cast members from the original movies include John Ratzenberger as Yeti and Tyler's dad, Bernard, Jennifer Tilly as Celia May, and Bob Peterson as Rose, twin sister to his original Monsters, Inc. character Roz. Voicing additional characters are Stephen Stanton as Smithy and Needleman, the bumbling custodial team at Monsters, Inc., and Aisha Tyler as Tyler's mom, Millie Tuskman. That is exciting. That is great casting for that show. And I'm very excited because it's going to start off in like a similar space as the original movie and then move them to this like office space type situation. So it might be like an office type comedy where it's like that'd be fun.
Merchandising, that's all I think about, because I'm like, I don't know why I feel like every time Disney makes a new franchise, or if they're like, let's make a new show, it's always like I can just see how that's a theme park ride or that's a merchandising item. That's literally all I think about when I hear stuff.
Absolutely.
Like that,
No, I think you're right. It's like everything that they do nowadays, they're probably thinking 12 steps ahead of it.
How can they sell it more?
And I was just watching this YouTube video that was talking about the fact that Disney, Walt Disney himself, actually wanted to build like a city and actually got approval in Florida to build like a city. Yeah. And like he actually went, like Epcot was supposed to be like a city that he built, but it ended up not like going as far because he basically wanted the city to provide a job for everybody who lived there. And then like everybody was like fueling a part of the society, you know, and everybody took a like. But the people who were designing it after he died couldn't find how it would be self-efficient like that. So they scrapped it and then just made it into like an Epcot world in the Disney world. But it's interesting because I feel like if Walt Disney would have lived, that he would have been able to make his city a reality because he had the vision. Too. He had the vision, you know. So it's like he already knew how he was gonna make it. But that's just fascinating to me when I think about that, because I'm just like, they actually were allowed to become their own government in Florida. Like the United States government, since they wanted to build their own city, it was called corporate city. And it was this thing that was done back in the day during the Industrial Revolution, where one corporation would literally own everything from like the grocery stores to the libraries to the churches, literally everything that was there, all the businesses, all in one city. It was just all owned by a corporation. So Disney was basically allowed to do that in Florida. And it didn't work out, but they're technically still allowed to like legislate their own like rules and laws in that area. In Disney World. So it just goes to show how much power Disney has, and how much like, you know, they've gotten away with, and particularly due to the fact that he was such a success. You know, like people always like to bend truths or like try to speculate a lot. And I'm not saying that, you know, I obviously shit on him a lot, and I like talking about it. But in reality, it's like impressive, more of an impressive feat for some businessman who just had an idea and literally was like, hey, let me go and invest in these properties after a period of time. And then like people just loved it. People just fell in love with the ideas and the properties he created. So then look at him, he became a billionaire.
And how fast it escalated too. Like it was just animation and cartoons, and then it became, we can do theme parks and we can do, you know, this whole, we could get into real estate essentially, and just weird stuff like that. Like, just wild.
Yeah, it's because he was thinking big. He didn't want to limit himself of something that was just one animated program, but instead it could be a whole experience for the family, you know. And it's just like, damn, way to go. That was smart, you know. That was good thinking in his part. But that's why we talk about him. That's why we talk about his business, you know, because it's something that people want to replicate and people want to get to the point in their lives where they can also have that same level of success, you know. So it's like people like Strictly Casual. We want people to be looking at Strictly Casual in a way where they might even be like, you know, we want to have merch. We want to have something that says Strictly Casual. I want to buy a hat. you know, or it's like you want to go to watch a movie that is produced by Strictly Casual or something like that. Or even just like go to a Strictly Casual theme park if that ever came down to it. I don't think that that's necessarily the direction we're going in, but you know, when you create something, if you're like Disney and you think big like that, and you know the right people, or you know how to get it in front of the right people,
sky's the limit.
The sky's the limit. Absolutely.
Wow, that's cool. That's an interesting topic. You know, getting to the conspiracies and stuff like that. But anyways, all right, I'll get into more light news now. I know I have a little more headlines, but so I'll just get into some of it. Catastrophe is about to strike. In the trailer for Godzilla Singular Point, which is a brand new anime coming to Netflix, we talk about at least once every episode how Netflix is adding more animes.
More animes.
June 2021, this is coming. And then we have Borderlands recruits a brand new actress, the actress who played Iden Verso in Star Wars Battlefront, the second game. Janina Gavankar is going to be playing a key new character called Commander Nox. This is for the Borderlands film. And then we have a live-action Gundam film, which Gundam are, of course, the iconic. Well, I don't know too much about it, but I do know that they're toys, models that, you know, you can put them together and paint them. They're really cool. They're iconic Japanese or Asian culture, stuff like that. I don't know exactly what it is, so don't quote me, okay? But yeah, a live-action Gundam film is in the works at Netflix and Legendary. This is from Kong Skull Island director Jordan Vogt-Roberts. So, I mean, I feel like that's a good connection there. Kong Skull Island seems like it matches with Gundam, but the aesthetic. So that's cool. Yeah, you can get into yours now.
Absolutely. I have one last one before I get into my light news here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is being rebooted by Seth Rogen, and these are some of the plans that have just come out of what he wants to do with the series. It says Seth Rogen has provided some information regarding his and Evan Goldberg's approach on adapting the property, revealing that they want to use and focus on the teenage aspect of the characters as a jumping off point. As a lifelong fan of Ninja Turtles, weirdly the teenage part of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was always the part that struck out to me the most, Rogen explained when discussing what drew him to the project. And as someone who loves teenage movies and who's made a lot of teenage movies and who literally got their start in their entire profession by writing a teenage movie, the idea of kind of honing in on that element was really exciting to us, he continued. It means not disregarding the rest, but really using that as kind of a jumping off point for the film. That's really fun. That sounds really exciting, I think. Yeah. And I think, you know, maybe we see the Turtles in high school.
They come back, the Turtles. Everybody loves Turtles. I think it's always going to come back. All right,
dude. In 100 years, they're still gonna be making like so many of the current properties we have. Dude. You're gonna see some of the originals. You're gonna see a Sonic the Hedgehog movie in 100 years. Yeah. You're gonna see the Mario. Ninja Turtles, Mario. You're probably gonna have Metal Gear Solid still gonna be going.
Pokemon movie.
Pokemon's still gonna be going. Huge. McDonald's, Wendy's. There's so many of these franchises that are still gonna be around 100 years from now. That you're gonna be like, when you're dying, you're like right before your death, you're gonna be like, hey, can you get me a McFlurry, son? Just one last time. Yeah. And he's gonna be like, you're gonna be in your dying breath, right? And then your son's gonna call you, and he's gonna be like, Dad, the machine was broken. And you're gonna die. You're gonna expire just like the machine did.
Oh dang, that's dark. This is dark. Where did this go? Anyways, well, speaking of,
it is a little dark that McDonald's is gonna be around. Someone needs to get rid of it, man. I mean, so many people eat McDonald's. It's crazy. It's probably. I'm telling you, it's never going away.
They feed. I think I saw 5% of the human population.
I know, dude. I saw that. I saw that one day where it was just like a crazy percentage a day, and you're just like, how are so many people choosing McDonald's as their one go-to meal?
It's nuts, right? Yeah. Blows my mind. Well, speaking of blowing your mind, I had this big one here, and I don't know if you heard about this one. Amazon's Lord of the Rings, the show. We've talked about this before. Their season 1 is going to cost a record-breaking $465 million to make. So this is the most expensive TV show ever made to date. It's been confirmed. And so by comparison, Game of Thrones costs roughly $100 million per season. This is $465 million for the season.
Wow,
that's mind blowing. It's ridiculous.
That's crazy to think about. They've invested so much into that, and I hope it goes well. We talked about those rewrites they're doing to those first couple episodes, getting rid of that major actor. So that's pretty crazy to think that they've spent so much money and then they changed it. I don't even want to think about the shit that might go down if it fails. Some people are gonna get fired so badly.
It'd be bad,
so
dude.
badly.
Mhm.
Fired out of a cannon by Jeff Bezos if that show fails. Bridgerton has been renewed for season 3 and 4 at Netflix. Remember Jean Page Renee Renee Page? I think that's his name. He left the show and it got renewed for 2 more seasons. So it's like,
wow.
I guess you leaving it's good, you know, for the rest of the people.
I was the best thing that happened to that show. No, I don't know.
Yeah, technically, yeah. If I was on that show and they were like, "Hey, it's been renewed for another 2 seasons," and I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, thanks."
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Well, perspective, true. Yeah.
Perspective. I mean, for him, he's going on to Dungeons and Dragons, hoping that creates momentum for other projects. But what if it's just Dungeons and Dragons, and then it just ends, and then it's just like, hey, where's he gonna go? But he's a pretty boy. He's a pretty actor, so he's just gonna keep going. That's my opinion. I saw him on Saturday Night Live, and I was like, that guy looks good. I'm sure he'll do fine no matter what happens. Mm-hmm. I got here, The Rise of Skywalker, Abrams cut is apparently almost 4 hours. What? Abrams 4 hours. Oh, who are you, Snyder? What's Zack Snyder over here? He's trying to copy this guy.
I don't want to see all these director's cuts. These director's cuts are gonna get out of hand. It only worked with Snyder. I don't want to start seeing the Abrams cut. Get the heck out
Abrams cut. Bro.
This is wild. It's wild. Oh man. Well, let's see. I have some random stuff here. No surprise, The Boys season 3, the Hero-gasm episode that they still been hyping up. We talked about it before. It's going to be a shocker, apparently. I think one of the executive producers was on a Zoom call and he read it, and his reaction was like, oh, this is nuts. And so in the comics...
I did see that.
Oh, okay, cool. For those of you that don't know, and this is news to me as well, in the comics, there was an annual VOT-sponsored festival where superheroes met on a secret island for an orgy. So you can only imagine how far they're going to go with that episode. It's going to be wild. Just crazy soups going around. Crazy.
I remember when we talked about it a couple weeks ago. I was just like, it's crazy because it's just gonna keep getting more amped up. I think it's not gonna stop. I don't know what's gonna happen once that episode drops, because it might just end up on Pornhub and then make money that way. Marvel is reportedly planning on keeping Ryan Reynolds away from Scarlett Johansson in the MCU. Isn't that interesting? Did you know they were married? I didn't. I
did. Yeah, I did.
I didn't.
Because I looked up.
I read this article and I was just like, oh, at the end of it mentioned it, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. I was like, that's kind of interesting, but I never knew that. He's been married to Blake Lively for a hot minute now, so I didn't even think about who he was with before. Next up, I got Toxic Avenger Jacob Tremblay joins Peter Dinklage in the legendary Reboot. When a struggling everyman is pushed into a vat of acid, who doesn't want to be pushed into a toxic waste vat of acid? He is transformed into a mutant freak who must go from a shunned outcast to underdog hero as he races to save his son, his friends, and his community from the forces of corruption and greed. Troma Lloyds Kaufman and Michael Hers will serve as producers. Now let me just say this.
Okay.
Everything is becoming a superhero franchise, and everybody wants to be a superhero these days. Now, Toxic Avenger apparently was a big thing back in the day. They had a bunch of books or movies about it, and it was very popular. So that's cool that these shows are kind of getting these reboots and this kind of treatment. But at the same time, I'm just like, who is asking for this
Too
stuff?
much. It's a lot.
You know? Yeah. Who is asking for this stuff, man? Like, seriously.
Yeah.
I don't want to come off as ungrateful, but just like,
it's a lot. It is. It just goes to show that Marvel, what they did with the Avengers franchise, it literally shaped the whole entertainment world with video games. You know, you have Avengers and Spider-Mans and Miles Morales and all these different, hero games, and now movies and TV shows and Netflix with Jupiter Ascending and comic books and nerd stuff. It just seems like that's all it is now. Which is I'm glad that I associate with all this. Like, it's not like I'm the one against it. I'm like with it, but I mean, to the outside person, I get the frustration because it's a lot, dude. It's much.
A lot. Like, it just feels like everything is just that, right? Yeah. Like, you're absolutely right. Like, everything is just like very nerdy superhero movies or shows or pop culture. Yeah, and there's not like HBO Max has come out with some gritty stuff here and there. But like, it feels like they're kind of like everybody is stepping away from that and more going into like the silly and like kind of superhero worlds, like investing so much in those franchises is crazy. Like you're saying, Amazon Lord of the Rings, 465 million. Their whole budget for those 2 seasons was 2 billion. So they already spent almost half of that on their first season.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Dominic Purcell announces he's leaving DC's Legends of Tomorrow after seemingly falling out with the studio. This is a quick one. Don't know anything about this guy. Don't watch the show, but I figured I'd report it. This one, if you really want something exciting, Cinderella's evil stepsisters will take the spotlight in an untitled Disney live-action musical comedy from Kristen Wiig and Annie Mumolo. This one seems kind of exciting, but there's a lot of people online that were like, had the same initial reaction we had, which was, who asked for this? You know, and it's the first time I've seen people online literally say that, because most of the time I'm outraged because I'm just like, who's asking for this, out of just the fact that I literally feel that way. But I never see people like that online. Yeah. But when this was announced, people were literally like, who asked for this? And I was just like, we get each other now.
Yeah.
We get each other. Yeah. Because seriously, I get the premise. And personally, I think this is actually one of those that you could be like, this is actually kind of creative, because it's like, you never thought about their perspective, and doing it as a funny comedy could be funny. But at the same time, it could also just be one of those things where you're just like you watch it one time and then you never hear about it ever again.
And who asked for this? That's our trademark.
Who asked for this?
That's our trademark on the show. Like, I like that we do that a lot. We're always like, who asked for this?
I mean, seriously, I mean, it's the facts. The final season of Castlevania will release on May 13th on Netflix. You watching Castlevania?
No, I haven't kept up with that. I didn't know too much about it, but do
you watch Attack on Titan?
No, I haven't gotten to my animes yet, dude. I'm not there yet.
No anime lover, huh?
Well, the closest thing is Invincible. That's it. I know that can't even be considered.
American anime.
I know.
That's all you can support. Come on,
I know,
bro. We just lost all our fans in Asia. Come on, man. Come on. I'm just kidding. We love anime around here. Vincent loves anime. He's always talking about My Hero. And James, bro, he's playing Persona 5, bro. He loves anime. The man loves his anime. Yeah. Personally, I like anime. I like more watching Korean dramas. Okay. I used to watch them when I was in Peru with my aunt. She put me on for a little bit, and it was the funniest fucking thing. She just told me, like, I was talking to her about TV, and she was like, you want to know how I spent my free time? She's like, I like to watch Korean dramas. And I was like,
oh my God,
really?
So random.
So random, bro. I was in Peru. It was random. She just has this little laptop. She just presses play, and then she just like watching episodes on episodes on episodes. Wow. And like it was really good stuff, like heated drama and like actually interesting. I watched the whole season of this one show, and I was just like, I might never watch this again, but it was enjoyable. Okay, you know, like it wasn't like I didn't like it, but definitely interesting that people like that. I got 3 more things here, so whatever you got.
Okay, I'll wrap up with my short little headlines. We got Shazam! Fury of the Gods cast Lucy Liu. She's from, of course, Charlie's Angels. She's going to be the in the film as the villainous family. She will play Calypso, the sister of Helen Mirren's Espira. So another villain. Ooh. We're just adding on to this whole thing. And then we have
Steppenwolf.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it is? I don't.
She's kind of like a Steppenwolf, you know, like type character. She's not the main baddie, but she's just another baddie.
Yeah.
And Lucy Liu is a baddie, bro.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. Anyways, Aquaman 2 gets another casting from the Game of Thrones star Pilou Asbaek. He has a very interesting name, of course. He was in Overlord as well. He's in negotiations to join the film as a lead. That's all we know with that. And then Warrior is renewed for season 3 and will air on HBO Max instead of Cinemax. Don't know any much about that show, but at least you get the news and that. And then that's about it. Oh, we have HBO's The Nevers that premiered this last weekend. It conjured up the biggest ever original series debut on HBO Max with 1.4 million viewers. So if that says anything, I'd maybe go check that out. I don't know if I can recommend it yet, because I saw it and it was a little slow for me. But
you watched some of it?
I saw the first episode, and I was like, it was cool. It's a new take. It's a new interesting take. But like we said, it's more pop culture-y, kind of dabbling with superheroes, superpowers, stuff like that. So
I got personally, I think that this is probably the closest thing to like a new type of show that I've been able to find, and it's called Solos, and it's an anthology series with an all-star cast, including Anne Hathaway, Nicole Beharie, Helen Mirren, Anthony Mackie, Dan Stevens, Morgan Freeman, Uzo Aduba, and Constance Wu. Great cast, and it's like a very sci-fi looking show. Like Anthony Mackie plays some sort of director in this show, and he's just like, And then like Anne Hathaway's character looks so hot in this little first look they released. I was like, dude, she looks amazing. Like, I don't know how old Anne Hathaway is, but she looks like she's 25, like eternally.
Oh my God.
I don't know what it is about that woman. I'm excited for this project. Solos, it's gonna be different. Every episode is gonna be different, you know. So it's gonna be focusing on, I guess, different characters or different storylines each episode. I think that's exciting stuff. Next up, I have Amazon Prime has passed 200 million subscribers. Can you believe that?
Oh,
that means almost 2/3 of Americans have Amazon Prime.
Wow, Bezos, man. We've given Bezos all we got.
That's why he's so rich.
Yeah, he's Doc
because
Ock.
we've given bro. Let me do the math real quick. Where's my? I don't. Oh, I can do it I can do it on my computer real quick.
How much the subscription is?
No, the subscriptions are $14.99, right? 14.
Oh yeah, times 200. That's what I mean, right? You can just figure out how much money.
200 million.
Oh God. And the verdict. How much money do we give them each month?
Okay, hold on. Oh my gosh.
I just realized that's a month, dude.
2, 3. We give him $2,998,000,000 every month.
Holy
so almost
crap.
$3 billion in subscriptions.
Wow.
That's
nuts.
Freaking crazy, dude. That is
a lot of money.
Crazy.
A lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Yeah, man. Woo! I can't believe it. I want to end on here with a final fact before we get into our recommendations. Tom Hiddleston knew about Loki's death in Infinity War since 2016, before Thor Ragnarok even began filming. So they had already told him, hey, you're going to die in Infinity War. You're going to expire. You're going to pass away. And he said, you know what? I'll do it if you give me my own show. And you know what? I'll even give you the title. Just call it Loki. And they were like, we'll do it.
Genius.
We'll do it.
Love it. Yeah.
Tom, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Cut the check, like Anthony Mackie says.
Here you go, Tom.
All right. You want to get in recommendations?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So my recommendation this week has been coming to you from Hulu. I've been watching what was that show I was just watching? Solar Opposites. I gave it another chance. I like Justin Roiling a lot, and the show's very different compared to Rick and Morty. It's not like exactly like Rick and Morty. It's a little bit more like, I personally like the little like B storyline that kind of happens between like the humans that are captured in the show that are kind of like put in this like little prison maze on the wall of the kids' room, and it's like they basically capture humans, shrink them, and then put them in this maze, and then it's a huge maze. Like I want to say there's like 100 little squares and like rooms that you have to maneuver through, and there's all these animals and insects, and it's like a little society that has been built there. But the show itself is pretty funny. But you know, it's not my favorite, but it's definitely, it's got its really good moments, but definitely check it out. What about yourself? What's your recommendation?
Well, I'm going to recommend an oldie, and of course it has to be a Marvel film this week. I'm going to recommend The Winter Soldier. And that's because with this latest episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think you guys should catch up on the relationship between Bucky and Steve and Sam, and kind of just get the palate cleansed, and, you know, kind of catch up on one of the, if you had to watch any of them, it's that one, definitely, to understand Sharon and, you know, just Batroc. There's a lot of characters in this show that connect to that movie especially, and who Bucky is and Sam. So go check out Winter Soldier. It's on Disney Plus.
Absolutely. I will. And I will say this, the next season of Marvel television will be the biggest in the world. So just be ready, man. Just be ready, because Loki, after this show, after Captain and Winter Soldier, I think it's gonna blow up so much. Everybody's gonna be like, Disney Plus is where we need to be. Yeah, because I think like what I love about this shows is that each one is so different than the last. You know, it's like they take place in these different environments. They take place with all these different storylines. Yep. They don't even like involve each other, but they involve the much larger picture at hand, you know, and I think that that's great. So the next season, or the next show, I should say, I like to call them seasons, because it's really just like different seasons of Marvel. Yeah. Just like I like to say, the show is called the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the season is just the next property or whatever they add. So just exciting stuff. Thank you guys so much for, you know, hanging with us and just taking the time to listen, and we had so much fun talking about these latest news, and I was fumbling my words a little bit today because I'm stressed the crap out, you know? No, I'm just, I am a little stressed mainly because I'm just, you know, life. Coronavirus still hasn't ended. I'm just like, I just want it to end. I just want to go back to normal. I want to go watch a movie for once. I want to watch. I want to be able to go to a theater and eat popcorn with my friends, because right now my friends are like, it's COVID, bro, and I'm just like, I just want it to be over. I was at work the other day and I had to like wear a mask all day, and I'm working, moving pop-ups and manual labor, sweating. You know what's funny? Someone was like, masks are okay. And I was like, masks suck if you are working in manual labor, because you're literally sweating, you're moving things, and you can't breathe. You know, you literally can't breathe. So it's just like, maybe you're sitting behind a desk all day, or maybe you're at a drive-thru and you're not really moving. Like I there's people out there who are suffering because of this stuff, and we all just want it to end. So let's get it together, you know, America.
Go get vaccinated.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that's it for us. Thank you guys so much for listening. For all our audio listeners, thank you guys so much. We love you guys. You guys are amazing. We've enjoyed doing this show. This is now episode 14, right? Wow. Episode 14. Over and done. We'll see you guys in the next one. 15 is going to be the biggest one yet. Bye.
Bye, everybody.